Hello everyone, my name is Nathan, and today, surprise! I know, I'm gonna keep the reasons brief why I'm actually continuing this series. Over the past 3 or 4 months, I experienced such a high growth rate and so many more views on my channel that it almost looked like it's going to make my channel a viable thing to spend so much time on. I've been doing this since 2011 without getting real money, so it's not about the money, but you know, I have a daytime job, I have a family, I have other things to take care of, also other hobbies, so I wanted to make this work. So that's why in the last episode I wanted to sacrifice the series for the health of my channel. However, I don't think any more scrap mechanic contributed to that. My growth pretty much stagnated over the past month. My views dropped back down to half and therefore also the money that I would receive. And I'm not making a fraction of the new subscribers that I've been making the previous months. So since this is probably not going to work out again, I mean, I've experienced this a couple of times, a better growth rate, and then it's just, you know, all gone again. That's not the first time. And since it is so luck based, I thought, screw the whole thing, I'm just going to do whatever the heck I like. And what I like to do is finish the scrap mechanic series on this channel. I'm still going to make a second channel for future series just to make it a little bit easier on me and still play by YouTube's rules. But what I didn't want to do is continue the series. I wanted to scrap mechanic, and a lot of you actually said I should make the second channel. They want to see the series continue. I also want to see the series continue. I wouldn't have done that on a second channel. I don't want to start at episode 10 or so on a new channel. It's a little bit of a bummer. I might have to reduce the amount of videos I can do a week again, because, well, a lot of these time resources I'm spending I could use in other areas of my life at the moment as well. So I guess that's just the YouTube game for you. A lot of it seems to be luck based, I guess. And so I have to say, what I really fancy doing today is make something else that is completely useless, and that is a logic counter and a binary to a 7-segment display decoder. And to actually give this counter some purpose, I'm going to count every 100 accumulative likes on this series with one number. So 100 likes would be number 1, 200 likes number 2, etc, etc. And so the more likes I'm getting, the more I can use the counter. So I guess that might be an incentive for you. I don't know. I just don't see another purpose for a counter, but I want to build it. Alright, let's do this. It's soon going to be daytime. I'm hoping that I can collect some more building materials. Is this really all I have in terms of stone? I should have more. Yeah, I guess I forgot to refine that, but we're gonna need plenty of that material. I actually want to build the counter on my first level here. All I want right now is expand this area far enough so that we actually reach almost... actually, let me see. I think this part right here. And then this is going to be the wall that I built up, and where we're going to display this like number. I guess what we could do is also make use of the wood and whatever this block is called. I never checked this. Net block. So what I'm gonna do is remove the center here, and we're just gonna fill this up with net blocks for the time being. So let me actually build up from here. Woohoo! Almost there. Just a couple more blocks and we can combine this together. Alright, nice. Looks like this is going to be our display segment here. Let me actually see. We want to have 1, 2, 3 blocks and then 1 and 1. So this is actually going a little too far, and that means I can't have it symmetrical. No. I'm hoping, optimistically, 3 digits. Maybe we're only going to need 2. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. We're going to have 1 display here and then the other one on the other side. So for now, we're going to make 2 displays, but we're only gonna make 1 functional in today's episode. Otherwise it's too complicated, too many logic gates we're gonna need right off the bat. Please don't tell me we need electronic circuits. Oh, even 2 of them. Oh, this is such a bummer. Looks like we're first gonna tend to the entirety of the binary. I'm just gonna set up a representation of the 7-segment display we're gonna have. We're gonna need 21 lamps, and I just don't want to grind for that right now. Here we go. Now you have an idea of the 7-segment display that I want to have. Everything will be done with lamps. And actually behind this, we're going to set up our logic. So we need to continue this for a little bit. Okay, nice. Except that it is getting nighttime. I guess I'm gonna bring up some lamps. I actually already have one, so that's gonna be convenient during this night. Okay, so how do we want to do this? We want to set up a binary system, so every time we press a button, it's gonna jump to the next binary number. Now, let me explain you the binary numbers first. Imagine we have 4 inputs. This is input A, B, C, and D, representing our bits 1 to 4. The way binary is counted is these make a string of zeros and ones, where the first input right here represents number 1, then the second input represents number 2, then number 4, and number 8. So it doubles every time. And this is what makes this system so ingenious. It just can do really mathematical stuff with it, and we can also do what we want to achieve today. But just to make this a bit more clear, in order to achieve number 6, for instance, you would calculate 4 plus 2. And the first bit and the fourth bit are just a 0. So the highest number I can achieve with 4 bits is 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1, which would be 15. And therefore, if we want to reach the number 16, we want to place another bit, and then number 16 would be this without any others. So if you read the output number from the left to the right, it will be 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. In order to make a functional counter, we're going to need an input. Let's say the input is activating this bit. If this bit is activated and the input is being activated again, then it is going to shut off and activate the next bit. If this bit is activated and the previous bit is not activated, it is going to activate the previous bit. So we have number 3. Then this bit is activated and the previous bit is activated. So this bit is going to be activated and these two are going to shut off, and we have number 4. That's the basic mathematical logic behind this. We don't have to completely understand it. We just have to know the basic principle so we can hook this up in the correct way. Now, I've seen many designs circling around, and I think the best bit system is done with sensors and also pistons. The way I've done it with my calculator that I built a couple of years ago in Scrap Mechanic is I made the pistons myself, but I also used the switch functionality of the sensors. Alright, let's make this happen. We're gonna start with bit 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm gonna set up a 5th bit just in case, but we're only gonna program the first 4 bits with the 7-segment display. Next up, we want to have a block on top of each of the pistons, and the pistons themselves I'm just gonna set to range 1 and the slowest speed. For each of these piston heads, I want to set up a sensor, and I think we can do it like so. So as soon as the piston expands, the sensor is going to see that and activate. So let me just get all of these sensors set up. I should have 2 more. Perfect. The sensors we want to set to a range of 1, and we want to have them act as a switch. Next up, we're going to need a whole bunch of logic gates. Let me see if I can get these oriented the right way. I don't think I can, but as long as we can see the symbol, we are actually good. So we're going to need 2 logic gates for each piston except the first and the last one. The first bit right here is not going to need the lower gate, and the last bit is not going to need the upper gate. The upper gate is kind of responsible to continue the signal, and the lower gate is responsible to do all the interactions. So the row at the bottom I'm going to set to OR gates, and the top row is going to remain AND gates. Now let's go ahead and set up a test button. This test button is going to expand the first piston, and it is also going to go to the AND gate of the first piston. What we can see here now, if I press this button, it is activating, and when I trigger it again, it is deactivating. Now, all of these sensors need to go to the AND gate, so we can determine whether or not a bit is active. Of course, as soon as a sensor is active, that means its bit is also active. Now, the last sensor is not going to be hooked up to an AND gate, but it is also going to serve a purpose eventually. Latest when we add more bits to this contraption. Each of the AND gates is going to continue the signal. So if this bit is already active and we are receiving another signal, it is going to activate the next bit. So each AND gate is going to go to the next OR gate, just like so. For the first bit, the OR gate is represented by the button, but each of the other OR gates is going to do the check with the AND gate. So each OR gate is going to hook up to the AND gate that is directly above it. And of course, this would be the output signal for the 5th bit. And we don't need an AND gate because it's not continuing yet. As I mentioned before, the OR gates are the outputs. So what we have to do is send the output to the pistons, just like with the button. So the OR gates are hooked up to the pistons and the AND gates. And we are doing the same thing here. OR gate is also activating its respective piston. Okay, with that out of the way, I think we already have more or less functional circuit. I actually kind of have to test it. You can see we now have the first bit activated, so number 1. In order to get number 2, this would shut off and then number 2 would activate here, or the second bit. So let's try that again, do that, we can see number 2. Now, since this is not active anymore and this is not active, it is going to enable this and this is going to remain active. So let's hit the button again and oh, I pressed the button for too long. Okay, that is the next problem we have to solve. We have to have a pulse limiter or extender. I would say we're going to build a limiter. So no matter for how long I press the button, it should limit what I can do with it. Otherwise, it's just not going to work out as well. Yeah, I have to get the timing exact, and this is not a reliable thing. But there we go. All the bits are activated, and as soon as I click the button again, everything is shutting off. And if we had an AND gate and continued with more bits, the next bit would have activated. Alright, in this case, let's go ahead and build a limiter. Let me think about this a little bit. No matter for how long I press the button, I want the signal to always be the same length. So we're gonna need a timer, and I guess I'm gonna sacrifice at least 2 more gates in order to achieve that. Let's add the timer right here, including 2 gates, like so. One should be a NOR gate, and the other one should be OR. Hold on, that doesn't make sense. We want an AND gate here, of course. And this is gonna be our output. So we're gonna treat that the same as the button. Okay, let's try to hook this up. The button would be going to the AND gate and also the timer. The timer itself is going to go to the NOR gate. The NOR gate is going to go to the AND gate, and then the AND gate is going to go to the piston and the other AND gate we had over there. So this last AND gate is just going to replace the button, and we're going to have that in between in order to limit the pulse. We can actually limit the pulse using the timer here. So if I click the button, you can see just how long this output is active. No matter how long I press the button, the output is always going to be that tick length. However, if I press the button very shortly, it's going to also be a short signal. So I want to press it for long enough. That's why it's called a limiter and not an extender. If we now hook this up to our piston right here, we should be seeing if it is going for too long or just the right amount of time, and we can see it is definitely too long. Also, I forgot to hook it up to the AND gate right there. That is of course important. So let's limit this to 150 milliseconds, and I want to see, oh, look at that, that is perfect. Number 3, number 4 would be this one minus these 2. There we go. Then number 5, number 6, number 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. We can even continue, 17, 18, etc, etc. You get the basic gist. This is absolutely amazing. I'm actually confused as to how reliable this is. Now we are at the maximum number and the next one is gonna reset. I have to say, this is a really nifty system. I wonder who came up with it. Unfortunately, I didn't find any more videos, so I kind of had to reconstruct it in my head, and it was a good learning experience because now I actually understand what's happening. But yeah, I would say this is a more elegant solution to approach the problem. What is missing now is a decoder into a 7-segment display, and this is actually where it gets a little bit more complicated. What we need in order to accomplish this is a lot more logic gates, and I mean a lot more. And then of course I'm gonna need my 7-segment display. But I think what I want to show you is a schematic right now that we are gonna try to build. This is gonna be the decoder, and don't worry, I'm gonna explain you everything that's going on, and I'm gonna try to simplify it as much as possible. But that is the circuit we're going for in order to decode the binary, at least 4 bits. Into a single digit 7-segment display. Anyways, let me grind out a couple more materials and I'm gonna be right back. Alright, I am back. I spent my time, like an hour or so, maybe not even, gathering some materials. I'm still short 3 logic gates. Oh man, this is gonna be absolutely insane, but let's freaking do this. No, how does this always happen? I just don't understand. This is so annoying. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Please, just go back into place. Oh my gosh, it's on, oh no, okay, it just got worse. Okay, I'm sorry, I take everything back. Okay, there we go, at least it didn't take much to get it back into place. Or maybe it will take a bit more? No, that's not gonna work. Okay. I think I'm getting there, or maybe not. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna reduce this to a flat surface for the time being, and then we can take care of that another time. There we go. Now we just have this simple platform. Nothing can overlap anymore, hopefully. Alright, now I need to have a quick look at that schematic again. Since we're only building this for one single digit for the time being, I'm probably not gonna take myself the time to adapt it to extend it in the future, because I feel like in the future we're gonna have to redo this completely with additional bits in mind. But this is really the part that I'm not sure is gonna function. I'm just gonna rebuild the schematic I'm seeing here. So what I'm seeing is inputs A, B, C, and D. And then we also have the not version. So this triangle with the point in the front is their not version. In order to accomplish that, what we want to set the not versions to is an XOR gate. And the way we're going to do this is simply place a button, for instance, here. And we're going to hook up all of these XOR gates. And we want to enable the button as well. So now, when the top signals are not activated, the bottom signals are activated, therefore it is a not signal. So all I have to do is connect the top signal here with the bottom one. So these should be OR gates, I think. And now let's say I'm hooking up this button, for instance, to this first A signal input. If I click the button, you can see how the state changes. So whenever I have a signal here, the signal is not active. So here we have A, not A. This would be B, not B, C, not C, etc, etc. And we would just continue this for as many bits we have. On the schematic, we can see which AND gates we now have to produce. We have to produce an AND gate for BD, an AND gate for not B, not D, an AND gate for CD, etc, etc. In total, it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 AND gates. In order to do that, I'm just gonna set up a pillar here. This is probably also gonna be temporary. I need to test this idea out first of all. So we're gonna need 9 of these guys. Here we go. I have produced my 9 AND gates. What we can also see on the schematics are 7 OR gates that represent the different segments. So that will be the first segment, second segment, third, fourth, and then the rest is gonna come soon. The first segment, or called small a, I'm just gonna refer to it as A, B, C, and so on and so forth. This would be A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. While I wait for some more clams to respawn in my lake, we can already prepare the AND gates. So let's prepare the first one, which is BD. So we need to hook up B and D. If you remember, we have A, B, C, D. Now let me actually hook this up correctly. I set it up from the left to the right because that's how it is on the schematic and I don't want to be too confused. But of course A would be the first bit. So we have to take the signal, let me see. I guess we could just take the signal from the sensor. As soon as the sensors are active, the bit is also active. So we're gonna get this to A, the second bit to B, the third bit to C, and the fourth bit to D. And we can already see this is working. We have the first 3 bits enabled, and so are these bits enabled, but the not version is not enabled. Let me just quickly go ahead and reset that to 0. Okay, now we can prepare the AND gates according to the schematics. The first AND gate is the BD AND gate. So we want to take the B signal right there, and we also want to take the D signal from here all the way to there. The next AND gate is not B, not D. So what we want to take is not B right here. And we want to bring this to the second AND gate, and also not D is going to go to the second AND gate. Now, just in case you're confused what we're doing here, depending on which binary input we have enabled, we want to enable different signals. And there are people who figured out circuits for that. So we don't have to think of all the possibilities, but that's essentially what's happening. If BD is active and not BD is active, then this segment should be active and so on and so forth. You could just do that in your head with a table, for instance. But dude, let's keep going. We got the first 2 gates done. The third one would be CD. So we are taking the C signal to the third AND gate and the D signal as well. Next one is not C, not D. So not C goes here and not D goes here as well. Then in the schematic there is the OR gate for the C, but you can just ignore that. We're gonna go to the next AND gate, which is C, not D. So we are taking C right here, bring that here, and not D. Next up is not B and C. So not B goes here, and then C goes there. Next AND gate is the most complicated. It is B, not C, D. So B, no, that would be not B. We want to do B, not C goes there, and also D goes there. There we go. Next up is B, not C. And the last one would be B, not D, right there. Okay, this should be our signals, right? The last step on the schematic is to connect all of these AND gates to the corresponding segments. So maybe now is the time to check. Ooh, I didn't mean to jump down there. Fortunately enough, fall damage isn't too harsh in this game. Are we lucky? No, stuff hasn't respawned yet. Oh my gosh. I just need some more glue. Well, I guess we can at least get started with the first 4 segments, A through D. Now, for that, I'm actually gonna take a more overviewish display of the circuit. You can see on this picture it correlates with the circuit. We want to hook up to the segment A. We want to hook up input A, input C, input BD, and input not B, not D. So here we have our complicated inputs, and here are the simple inputs. If it says A, we of course want to take that input. So A goes to small a. So then we also want to take the C signal that goes to that. We want to take the BD signal, which is our first AND gate here, BD. And last but not least, we want to take not B, not D, which is our second right there. Next up, the B segment is composed out of, these are, by the way, all OR gates. So any of these inputs is going to activate the segment. Segment B can be activated if not B is active, or if not C, not D is active, which is our 4th AND gate here, not C, not D. And last but not least, CD, which is the 3rd AND gate right there. Segment C can be activated with B, the input B. It can be activated with not C, and it can be activated with D. So that's also supposed to go here. The D segment seems to be the most complicated. So either not B, not D, which is the second one here. Then C, not D is the 5th from the bottom. So this one here. B, not C, D is the 3rd one from the bottom. Not B, C is the 4th one from the bottom. I'm always looking at the schematic to figure that out. And last but not least, A is also a possibility for this segment. So if we have a look at this, A, B, C, and D, all of these segments are at the moment activated because, of course, with no input, we should display the number 0. So I can already tell you that the next 2 segments are also going to be active, but the G segment should not be active. Now I'm going to be right back as soon as I collected some more clams. Please, please. Oh, thankfully the game does me a timely favor. Thank you so much. There we go, said and done. Got my 3 last gates. This is gonna be OR gates as well. And it's segment E, F, and G. So let's continue with E. E requires not B, not D. So you're gonna go there. And also C, not D, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the bottom. So that was easy. F is gonna require A. So you come here. Not C, not D, which is this one here. Then we want to have B, not C, right here. And also the bottom one, B, not D. Perfect. As I said, all the segments are active. This one here shouldn't activate in the end. So let's test this out. First of all, we want to take input A. That is a possibility. Then we want to take B, not C. Then not B, C is going to go here. And also C, not D, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. Okay, there we go. Beautiful. This is absolutely amazing. Now, what do I need to make this finish? Let me actually bring back the lamps, and we're gonna try it out with that, because now we can have the segments somewhat represented, and then we can see which one is activating. So each of you is gonna get one of these lamps, and we can make sure that it is actually working correctly. And as I mentioned before, A is gonna be this one, B is gonna be this one, C there, then we have D here, E right there, F right here, and G in the center. And will you look at that, we have the number 0. Now, of course, all of these pipes are gonna be replaced with lamps, so it actually looks also nice. But let's put this to the test. We wanna see the number 1. So we're gonna press this once, and we have the binary input 1. Let's check the number. No! We now have an 8 displayed. Let me move this a bit further. So that would be number 2. Oh my gosh, I did something completely wrong. Hello, this is Editing Nathan. I realized that I hooked up the input A, B, C, and D in the wrong order. I should have hooked them up the same way I did my bits. So instead of hooking up the first bit to the most left gate, I should have hooked it up to the most right gate. Editing Nathan out. Okay guys, I had to redo this in creative mode so I can have a little bit of a better overview, but I wired it up according to the schematic, and this is now working much better. We can see the same setup, just a little differently arranged. You can actually see, this is not the first time I'm trying this out. Anyways, we can now see number 1 is displayed as the first bit is activated. If we go to number 2, that's working. Number 3, oh my gosh, I love this. Number 4, this is kind of crazy, and this is why I love the binary system. You can just do so many mathematical and logical things with it. Number 7, number 8, number 9, and of course, since we have only programmed 4 bits, we can only go up to number 9. If I go to number 10, it's not gonna show a 0, it's gonna show something impossible, and that is because we haven't hooked up the additional conditions that come with the 5th bit. So that's why I said I only want to do one number for today, but once we have more access to logic gates, we can do more. Cool, that is actually a pretty nice concept, I would say. I'm gonna finish wiring this up in the survival mode as well, but I just wanted to make sure I can actually show you a working system here. Just so I can go to bed in a chill mood, I actually want to make the fix here too. So all we did wrong is hook these guys up the wrong way. So each of the sensors I want to take and undo the connection. And instead the 4th bit is gonna be input A, then the 3rd bit input B, and so on and so forth. We are starting with the number 0. That is good. I'm gonna press the button once and we should be seeing number 1. So that is working now. I'm glad I actually did that just for closure. We can see that would be number 2. That's working. Let's do number 3 to wrap things up. Yeah, that's working too. Okay, glad I fixed that. Let's do this one more time. Counter is at 0. That's because I have 0 likes. Then the counter is at 1 because I have 100 likes. The counter is at 2 because I have 200 likes. You get the gist. What am I doing with my scrap mechanic life? But yeah guys, that is essentially it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great time and see you soon. Bye bye.